Hello, and welcome once again to Culture Cove on Hued Network. It promises to be a very special one. What we do here is preserve, promote, and ensure that the arts and culture remains very forward in our hearts. As always, I'm not here alone, but I am Amadin Ogbewe. We have a number of special guests in the house, but let's start with our very own Joan. Joan, how are you doing?
I'm good, Amadin. It's so great to be here, and I love the color. It seems we're twinning today.
Yeah, we are. And we didn't even plan it, so we're in sync. Anyway, we also have some special guests in the house today, like I said. So going by, let me go from the far right, and I move to the middle. I have Sir K. I want to just, use the name that we all know you by, this very popular name. He's a co-founder of the Black Bones Theatre Company. He's a cultural ambassador. When it comes to culture, Sir K's name is right next to it there. I'm sure you're aware. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, sir.
On the program.
It's a great pleasure. It's a great pleasure being here.
All right. So we have, I should say, one of our first international guests in the house. She's Jamaican. She's also, actually, she embraces a whole lot of people. She's an award-winning actress. Talking about Makeda Solomon. It's a pleasure to have you.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I was almost going to say Jamaican and
British.
And also Nigerian.
I was expecting the Nigerian part actually.
And when Nigerians claim you, I mean, you can't run away. You're one of us now.
We have claimed she's one of us.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
So on Culture Cove, we have a number of segments as always. The first segment where we talk about what Hued Network has been up and about in recent times. The second segment, we take a look at what's happening in arts, fashion, film, whichever. And then finally, we take a look or we spotlight a specific culture, cultural practice, or how cultures relate with a certain aspect of life. So let's kick off with the first segment now. So Hued Network was around town in recent times to celebrate or commemorate with Bangladesh on the celebration of their Martyr's Day, which also coincides with International Mother Tongue Day. So let's take a look at what happened right here at the Bangladesh High Commission in Abuja in Nigeria here, and then we'll talk about it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. February 21st has been a special day of recognition for Bangladesh since it became the National Martyrs' Day to commemorate the sacrifice of language heroes who died on said day to uphold the dignity of the mother tongue, Bangla, in 1952. At the commemoration in Abuja recently, the High Commissioner of Bangladesh to Nigeria, Masudor Rahman, highlighted the power of language and how culture can lead to development.
The people of Bangladesh in 1952, 21st February, they gave life to promote and protect and establish their language, mother tongue, as the state language, being the majority of the people speaking this language in their part of the country, which is not then independent, which was under the rule of Pakistan. We were then East Pakistan. But this development is not a very small one. This is a huge development in terms of promoting and protecting the linguistic diversity, in terms of promoting pluralism, and in terms of promoting inclusive, anti-discriminatory society, just society based on freedom, based on democracy gradually. And you will see the history. This actually helps Bangladesh achieve its independence in 1971. We are working on it. And Bangladesh and Nigeria has been very much closely connected, culturally connected, and we have many things in common in cultural synergy. So this will go a long way in promoting our two countries' relation, not only in the cultural field, but also in trade, investment, and and also people-to-people exchanges. This will also go a long way to promote educational collaborations, agricultural collaborations, and so on and so forth. সবার জন্য সুষম উন্নয়ন, সবার জন্য সুষ্ঠু জীবন ব্যবস্থা এবং ন্যায়সঙ্গত সমাজ প্রতিষ্ঠা. It means that we are endeavoring to promote equitable society, just society, and promoting sustainable development.
Also speaking to Hugh Network, the National Librarian at the National Library of Nigeria, Professor Chinwe Anunobi, stressed the need for researchers to elongate the lifespans of indigenous languages by studying them.
So today we unveiled what we call a compendium of alphabets and numerals of Nigerian indigenous language. We unveiled it in the Ministry of Education. So today is a great day for, you can see I am dressed in my own local attire, because when you look at me, you don't, if you're Nigeria, you don't have to go too far to recognize that I'm coming from the southeast. Yeah. Our advice not only to parents, to educators also, to see how they can encourage these children to speak their own language, and to researchers, because whenever you are not researching on a language, the language will begin to die. We are also encouraging researchers to begin to research in all these languages. Many of them, because like we have discovered that there are 563 languages, but we'll be able to get 42 for now that has autograph. So you can imagine the rate of endangerment or extinction. These languages, when we look for them, because anything that is written in this country, documented in national, we're worried that they are not there. So we are asking if they can be translated and kept in the National Library for posterity.
The acting Vice Chancellor of Yakubu Gowon University, formerly known as University of Abuja, Professor Patricia Mankola, also stated her expectations for more interest about language in academia.
We do have professors that are specialists in specific languages, Igbos, the Yorubas, Hausa, where we're beginning to comprehend in our own other, what you call the minority tribes.
Martyr's Day, which coincides with International Mother Tongue Day, enables reflection on the journey to preserving languages and fostering a functional multilingual society. As voices rose in song to close the event, they echoed a deeper call, the urgent need to preserve the languages that carry our identities, histories, and worldviews. The time to act is now, before silence replaces the stories only our native languages can tell. It's chilling. It's reflective. At one point you think about what the day means, and on the other part you see Professor Anunobi smiling, and you just want to catch that fun. But just a quick background. The Martyr's Day goes back to when Bangladesh, just as the High Commissioner said, a number of persons decided that we are going to stick to our language. There was a declaration that another language was going to become the national language. And these parts of the country at that time stood their ground, and we have some very bold or brave students who ended up losing their lives in the quest to protest what was happening. And that's part of, what we're, talking about here. And again, I think people fight for what they love and what they believe in. And that's cascaded. That was around 1952, all the way to 1971, where Bangladesh now became a country of its own. So let me start from you, Makeda. What do you think about this mother tongue, preserving it and all of that?
I think preserving your mother tongue is absolutely crucial. It's a case of identity. And as someone who was born into a country that it wasn't my what I would consider my original mother tongue. So as an African twice removed, it's as if I'm twice removed from my mother tongue. And I was joking with someone here just the other day, because when I'm being sort of told words to say in whether it's Yoruba or Igbo, and I'm saying it and the person is laughing at me because I'm thinking I'm saying it correctly. And they say, no, the pronunciation is, you have to put your tongue like this. So what I have lost over these years of, centuries of removal from my original motherland is the ability for my tongue to form the shapes necessary to speak the languages. So that it was just highlighting it to me how important it is. I mean, not that now I'm going to learn all of the languages that she mentioned, but being able to call the names of my family here, to be able to say them and not sound like an outsider. I relish the thought of doing that, and I'm going to make the effort to do it. And it's the same in terms of the Jamaican patois. When I was growing up in the UK, my parents spoke it in the house. So I was hearing it, knowing it, understanding it. And there are things you cannot say in English that can only be conveyed in Jamaican patois for another Jamaican to understand. So if you're saying to somebody, please, I would prefer you do not come here and mess with me, it's not going to have the same impact as no bother my peace. So mother language, mother tongue is crucial to a sense of identity.
Susanke, what do you think?
Oh yes, it's absolutely crucial. It's like she said, it's one of the identifiers of your identity. I mean, that's what tells who you are. And once it's not there, it's a big part of you that is missing. I was just saying that one of the problems I have with this nation, with our country, is the fact that we don't have one unifying mother tongue. There's a big advantage in our diversities, but I would have loved a situation where if we could have one mother tongue, I think that would have worked more in our favor in terms of unifying us and in terms of even our development. Like I was saying, that you can imagine if, for instance, in our schools, our children are taught in their mother tongue before they move out to maybe higher level of learning, and then they now have to learn a foreign language, because I think we think faster in our mother tongue. We think better in our mother tongue. So you can imagine what level of development would have achieved. And I think that's what is working for some of those countries that are far ahead of us technologically. I know that, for instance, China, they don't necessarily need to speak English. I know they're even just getting people to come and teach English in China. So, and you can imagine their level of development, even technologically, even in technology. So, you can imagine breaking down physics, chemistry into our local dialects. I know, fortunately, I was so pleased when I saw someone who had done chemistry in Yoruba recently. He did the chemistry book, I think, for senior secondary school in Yoruba. And for me, yes, it might still have its mistakes, things you might still need to work on, but I think that's a definite bold step in the right direction. And I think we need to see more of such. Just like the prof said, the national librarian, we need to start documenting, we need to write, we need to have those things where future generations can access them. I remember one of the things that helped my Yoruba was reading some of those great books that were written by a renowned Yoruba writer, then Dio Fagwa, the man who wrote several books, Ogbewe, those were Yoruba classics. And I read them, and I didn't even know what attracted me to them, because I just loved reading anyway, because anything I could lay my hands on, I read, so I just discovered, and I enjoyed reading them. In fact, the accent, I had to know the accent, because when you Yoruba, for instance, when you write OWO, if you don't accent it properly, it could be given different meanings. It could be owo, it could be owo, it could be owo, it could be owo, it could be owo. So the same letters, with the proper strokes and that would give it a different meaning. So I had to learn those ways, so that when I'm reading, I could make sense out of what I was reading.
And I think one thing you mentioned here that I really relate with is the pride and joy with which you do something.
Oh, yes.
When you talk about those books you read and maybe you are narrating it or speaking about it, the joy you feel will make people, that is why I see that Yoruba, I mean, the main languages, it's not just about population.
Yes.
There's a way they love, especially, it's not even an offense, it's a plus, especially Yoruba people. If there are 2 Yoruba persons here, they are going to take over and start speaking their language. And then you find that those who can't speak, because of how excited they are, you start to learn and all of that. Because I have just one story real quick. In this particular instance, it's a little issue we have in Edo State. I'm from Edo State.
Okay.
My brother and I, using a story now, we went to the same secondary school. But we didn't talk to each other. We sort of behaved like we didn't know each other while we were in school. So if he's coming and I'm going this way, we'll just, and then we pass. Why? Because we only need to speak to ourselves in our language.
Okay.
At home. So I felt but we were not proud of it. So when we're out there, everybody is speaking English, and I can't speak English to him. I really don't know how to converse with him in English. So if I meet him, I have to speak Bini language, and if I speak Bini, people are going to look at me.
You will look like
and so we didn't talk. So the older we've been getting, we've been saying that speaking the language is the thing you should even be proud of.
Absolutely.
Not the reverse.
I sorry, just riding on what you said. That is the area our parents and, just like you said, the institutions need to work. It's not just a matter of teaching our children, but you need to teach them to take pride
in it.
Absolutely. You must identify, you must be proud of doing it. You shouldn't, just like you said now, you shouldn't see it as something shameful. And that's why, I, with benefit of hindsight now, I frown at that culture of vernacular. You speak your native tongue in school, you're in trouble. You get punished.
Right.
So that doesn't, you're just killing that aspect of the child. So eventually, even at home, the child would not want to speak the language.
And then we have people like Joan who not only speak her language, she now added extra.
Thank you. I want to even share my own experience. I had the opposite of you. So, and there's what we call dialects.
Okay, yeah.
So dialect is like
even a
separated version of the general language everybody speaks. So I schooled in one of the eastern part of Nigeria, one of the universities there, and the state I'm coming from is we all speak the Igbo language, like the Imo, Enugu, but everybody have their own dialect. So when I went to school there, I went to the market and I started speaking my own dialect. And guess what? They were telling me, keep quiet, you don't know how to speak Igbo. You're speaking the wrong thing. And you know what I did? I pressed it on their necks. I said, look, this is my dialect and I'll speak it. And I'm proud of it.
You should learn, you should understand
and
it.
even when I went to my own parts, I continued my own dialect. My grandma was like, yeah, that's good. It shows that you were not swayed. You did not even say, okay, let me switch. Exactly. So,
and we have the very similar thing in Jamaica where if the children in schools in my parents' time coming up, they would speak English. If they were heard speaking in patois, they would speak properly. So it got a very negative connotation related to speaking in where I love speaking. I love patois. But also what we found is that there was one woman, Louise Bennett Coverley. She was a Jamaican actress and performer. She popularized patois. She wrote poems in it and she defied people who said that it's not proper language. So that whole tranche of people in the arts, which is where the power of the arts comes in, is to raise back what makes us who we are.
Indeed, there's soft power there also. Anyway, thanks so much. That's how we round off this segment. We'll go on a break now. When we return, we'll delve into the arts and entertainment. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Keep watching. Please keep watching Culture Cove on Hued Network.
Welcome back. This is still Culture Cove right here on Hued Network. We're delving into our second segment now. And this is in particular or is related to the iHeartRadio Award, or what some persons like to call the Taylor Swift Award. Not because she coined it or whatever, but she's won it the most times. I started in 2014, and it's just about, people who are the most popular on the platform and basically generally in pop culture. But we're not talking about the award specifically. Taylor Swift once again had a number of nominations, but we're talking about the fashion. How did the stars show up for this particular event? So let's start with, I usually pronounce her name. We're talking about language here, so you have to pardon me. I pronounce her name as Jojo Siwa. But actually, I think it's Jojo Siwa. She's also a popular pop star, and I think she went the most extra on this. So, in my own opinion, but let's see what you have to say. So, this is Jojo, and as you can see, she made a statement. What you think about that statement is what I would like to hear now. I saw your reactions already.
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is that there's nothing new under the sun. So when we talk about fashion and being a senior, when I was growing up in England, the pop culture at the time, the punk rock era, this is how they were dressing. So it doesn't shock me.
I think that's what she was going for. She was trying to shock
the shock factor. Yes.
No.
But,
I'm not shocked either.
It's creative and it's her style. And I always say, in terms of people expressing themselves,
the Lady Gagas of this world do
they
crazier stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, so what I'm trying to really get is, what's the statement actually? Is it something like a spider, a Batman?
Actually, the little are those wings behind her?
That's
like
where
a
I'm going.
reptile sort of.
Yes. It's quite reptilian now that I think about it.
But her eye makeup is it reminds me of, I think it was Ziggy Stardust. Even
the wrestler?
Even David Bowie back
David
in the
Bowie,
day used to have the same type of eye
yes.
makeup.
And look like Batman.
But yes, it does. It does.
I think maybe she might not feel the best that she didn't get the reaction. Sometimes they want to get wow, stuff like this has happened. So
well, I'm not a fan. I am literally not a fan. I don't. But it's, if I could really, really talk about this, I just have a little things I like. I like the beads, the stones. It brings out, it makes you sparkle even at night. But the whole everything, if you can separate the stones, the beads from every other thing, I think I'll just pick just the stones and then
you take the stones.
You take the stones and leave the building.
I'll leave everything for her.
Let's take a look at another person, an icon, a legend. For a lot of women, a very popular figure, talking about the Beyonce Knowles. Let's see how she turned up for that award right there.
Queen Bee.
Yes, Queen Bee. We run the world. Anyway, she's glowing, first of all. But away from that, what do you guys think about this look?
Leather never goes out of fashion. It's fine. It's fine. To my observation, it's
a smile for
it's
me.
quite mild. I was expecting something
way
more. Yes,
I think she's
in her usual style.
in a cowgirl era.
Cowgirl, yes.
And just like she mentioned earlier, this is still following the punk,
That's
punk
right.
era. The leather,
That's
plenty
right.
of belts and stuff.
That's
and
it.
So. But I mean, this is looking good. She's looking, and like you said, the smile is just there.
The way you carry this clothes.
I love everything I see here. I love the combo, the smile, the hair, everything.
Fair enough. So we're moving from this rather high to, let me not say it. Let's just see what comes next. Because I have some comments on the next person. We're talking about Chris Olsen. So Chris Olsen decided to, let's see what.
Okay.
This is Chris Olsen, and this is how he came to the event and award. And I wonder, what I think happened is he forgot the awards was happening. And somebody said, bro, it's starting.
Mowing the lawn. Let me just run in. Yes.
Well, for me, what I think is he's getting the effect he was getting what he wanted to achieve. You were expecting him to really turn it up. And he decided to just
turn it right way
down to what nobody would expect. I mean, ordinarily, nobody would expect him to turn up for an award ceremony ceremony
Yes.
like this.
And I think sometimes it's also about carriage. There's some people who could do this and it becomes a statement. Everybody starts
You'll be
dressing that
shocked
way.
after this. How many young people
Let's
will
see if
be
we have
around
that.
The impact.
Yeah, and then I mean, it's not doing our agenda very well. Women are already seen to be
Thank
killing
you.
us.
Thank you
Anything that
very
comes to
much.
fashion, and then you go and do this. But I like the pants and the shoe. Though.
Yes, but what's the already that you're just wearing a singlet?
Yes.
I think at this point we just have to be separating things now. So we are taking the pants and
And shoes.
and the rest. The rest I'll just pass. Honestly.
You know, so I went somewhere, but maybe I shouldn't mention the country, and I saw people wearing singlets on the streets.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
They wear the singlets like this, and they're going about their normal.
That's right.
And I was like, hey,
That's right.
why? I mean, these are the people who are supposed to be. We will wear all these
yeah,
and think, what are we talking about? So,
But it's a cultural thing as well, you know, because as you say, I don't think you would find one of us. Wherever we are from in the world, I think our people generally are those that we have to turn it up a few notches.
Indeed.
If we're going to go understated,
Cover up everywhere.
All right, let's check out our next a celebrity. We have from Jennifer Hudson. Let's see if it's a step up. It is a step up, I have to say. I mean, she's glowing.
It's classy.
Although her smile seems a bit forced, but other than that, I think it's as you say.
I think this is very simple.
This is
Very simple.
And effective. Simple and effective.
She just decided to keep it
Enough
simple.
glitz. But it's not.
Yeah, classy.
It's classy because it's also, and again, this is based on individual taste and choice, but there's something that came to me just to write just the other day to the young women of the world, and leave some things to the imagination is what the poem that was coming to me, because when you see a woman like this, you know, dressed, you know, concealing her parts, it just says more to me than someone that's literally just dressing in a string and leaving nothing to the imagination.
Vehemently.
This is excellent for me.
Yes.
This is excellent. Anybody that doesn't agree with this needs some, but everything. I love the feathers. The shoe matches, like you said. Her smile is forced, but I don't know why. But anyways, everything is just, the material used for this dress is top notch for me.
It is.
Fair enough. So let's take our final celebrity. We have Ludacris. The rapper, you know, I think he kept it a bit casual, old school.
Decent.
It's
sneakers.
It's just okay, I think, in my opinion. I think this award didn't really see, other than perhaps Jojo at the beginning. Everyone else sort of just
was
kept
quite
it okay.
Casual.
You know, no statement. It's not the Met Gala, but you know, things happen. So I think it's pretty simple.
The rapper's culture.
Indeed. Although he's more of an actor these days, with Fast and Furious and all of that. But,
I recognize who it is now. Yes, I'm getting it.
He has the popular move, get out the way, get out the way. So anyway, that's Ludacris there, and those are our highlights for the iHeartRadio Awards. So we'll take a quick break now. When we return, we'll delve into a special culture or spotlight special culture. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Keep watching. Please keep watching Culture Cove on Hued Network.
All right, welcome back. This is still Culture Cove, our final segment of the program. We're taking a look at a culture. We're spotlighting a culture today. So, Joan, take it away.
Thank you so much, Amadin. It's been wonderful having Sake and my beautiful lady in the building. Okay, so we'll be going to Jamaica.
Oh, wow.
Jamaica. Yeah, see, I can laugh at you now. Keep going, sorry.
It's fine. Okay, so we're going to Jamaica. I hope I got that.
That's close enough.
Yes. Okay, so we'll be talking about the baby trees. And this particular culture in Jamaica is seen as how when a child is born, a tree is planted. And we all know how trees function. It's a life plant that grows, bears fruit and all. So it's connected with that child. The more the child grows, the more the tree grows. And as the tree is growing and becoming stronger, that's how the child is growing and becoming stronger as well. And what really, really gets my attention is the fact that the child is growing stronger with the tree. That's very, very important. And also,
the ecological
the ecological part of it. When we are all encouraged to plant trees for the sake of climate and all. So imagine when a family has 7 children and that each child has a tree. So, and it's planted in different parts of that particular community. We've saved that community already. So it's just so beautiful to behold. And, you know, that's one thing about the baby trees. And
but I mean, thankfully we have a Jamaican in the house, so she could shed more light on
Well, it's interesting, as when this was mentioned before, the fact that I didn't grow up in Jamaica, but I've spent the last 30 years there. And in my time there, over the last 30 years, I have not come across that personally. But what I am aware of, there's an old Jamaican saying. So if someone is saying to you, you know, where are you from, or sort of trying to decry you, it says, like, go away. Me know where my navel string bury. In other words, I know where my umbilical cord has been buried. In other words, I know myself. So I know it obviously was something perhaps in my parents' generation in their days. And some people will still do it, I'm sure, in the rural parts. But in the cities, the generations that, you know, it has evolved. Some may still do it, but it's not a general thing. But for the reasons that for the reasons that you've just mentioned, why it is a beautiful thing. I'm a naturalist. I'm a person who's very connected with nature. And had I not given birth to my son in England, I would have asked them, please give me that so I can take it home. So I know my mother and her generation did that. They planted the tree of their child, the navel string of their, under a tree, so that it was marking for traditional reason. And my understanding is that it came from African tradition and culture. So
that's what I was going to link it to.
Yes.
I just recently, I can't remember what we were talking about, and somebody from Edo was telling me that in their part of Edo, that's the culture. That when a child is born, when a child is born, the family plants they plant the cord as a tree, and you know, to signify the birth of the child, and just like you said, they nurture the tree the same way they nurture the child. And you know, you mentioned the part of Edo, I can't easily recollect that.
I will pick up that on part of my research, because that's one of the things I'm doing, looking at the traditions and cultures that were passed down to my parents and their parents and so on. What was retained from Africa? Because I'm very much into sort of reviving where we can revive those things, because they must have had a meaning and a significance.
Look at this. Look at the environmental impact.
Absolutely.
That's just beautiful. Without, I don't know whether they thought of that before they did, but look at what it would do to that environment. Clean air, beautiful scenery. You know, you can just imagine even without them being conscious of what they were doing.
The positive impact.
The positive impact of that.
I love when culture does that. It's always so beautiful. And then speaking about trees, I think there's usually this emotional attachment. We can't get to them. I remember back then, we had the number of mango trees at home. So I would go to the university, then I'll come back during the break. And then I noticed I'm seeing more of the sky. What's going on? No, why did
trees have gone? Exactly.
It's so painful whenever I come out. Something has been done.
The tree is missing.
Yes, and I think it sort of talks about how humanity intersects with nature. Because you find out some of the reasons these trees are cut is because of the wires for power supply.
Exactly. Modernity.
So I'm like, should nature bend to suit you, or should you bend to suit nature? So in a way that we still end up getting what we want, industrialization, but not neglecting, you know, all of that. But
absolutely,
it's interesting. I think it'd be...
As I say, I'm very much into nature, because people know me. Where my house is, mine is surrounded by trees and bush, and, you know, there are concrete structures nearby. I have my concrete structures, but they're probably looking, saying, well, where is she? You know? Because nature, it breathes with us, it breathes for us. And I'm saying that we
my
lose a
wife-
lot of our connection.
My wife laughs at me when I
granted.
tell her, as beautiful as some of these estates and whatever buildings are in Abuja, I can't live in them. All those triplexes
Too much
that
concrete.
you can stay in your house and shake the next
Yes,
person.
yes.
That's not my kind of thing. I want a small building, but a large
land.
compound where I can walk around.
That's
I
it.
can have my mango tree somewhere there, have my guava tree in the
That's
corner
it.
there. That's just like I said,
Yes.
that's what I want.
Yes.
She's a mango. She's a mango.
I have two mango trees, so you can come.
You should come to your house.
All right. So speaking of trees, if you were going to want to go back to a child and then owning a tree,
Yes.
what particular fruit tree would you like to own?
With your cord.
With your cord.
It would have to be an avocado tree.
Oh,
Yes.
Nice.
Pear, we call it pear in Jamaica.
Yeah,
Pear.
that's true.
We call it pear here
Yeah,
as
me
well. So what about you, Sake? Please don't mention mango. Please don't mention mango.
No, mango is not one of my favorite
Thank you
fruits.
so much. Any other one you pick, I'm for
Yeah, good with it. But what tree? I'm really looking for a tree that would depict the kind of person that I am,
maybe cashew.
An orange tree.
tree.
Orange tree.
I think I'll be a palm tree.
Oh, nice.
You changed it.
We had everything actually. We had
Okay.
we had mango, palm, coconuts, orange, guava. So we had a lot at home actually.
Mine will be
So-
coconut. I love
Coconuts.
coconuts.
Yes.
But do those trees, I was looking for a tree that really grows big. Do those trees grow big? Coconut
Coconuts.
trees?
Coconuts
Very
are not
high.
as big as
Yes,
palms.
They're not
Okay.
as big as, but they grow very tall. They
Very
can be
tall.
tall.
Yes.
Okay.
I have both.
Anyway, thanks so much for your opinions and your thoughts on this. That's our round of the program for today. But we'll have one quick thing to round up the program. Our wise saying. So let's take a look at that. And when we return, we'll get our thoughts on it. Well, I think it's an interesting one there. I know if I ask Sake to read it, it will be, So let's switch it up. So Makeda, can you help us read this?
And we want no laughing now.
No
laughing.
No laughing. Zoop.
Person we won't catch animal for bush, no they blow whistle.
Oh. My sister is right there. She's
My tongue is let me just give you a Jamaican one in return. Because we have a lot of proverbs as well that are in the patois.
Okay.
And this one reminds me of every hoe have them tick a bush. Means every hoe, the implement, has a stick that was meant for them that is growing in the bush somewhere.
Okay.
And that relates to relationships. In other words, it doesn't matter who the person is,
there's a match
person
somewhere.
for every person. Every hoe have them tick a bush.
I think
Every hoe have them tick a bush.
Have them tick
Have them tick a
I think
bush.
every single person in the building should take note.
Indeed.
Yeah, person who won't catch animal.
Yeah, so let's get your interpretation.
I mean, this is just the way to go. Person who won't catch animal. If you begin blow whistle, the animals go run down. So if you what he's telling you is you must be focused in what you're doing. You must face your purpose. You must know what you're doing. And sometimes you don't need to what's the word now? Blow out what you're doing. Just remain consistent, do what you're doing. You don't have to be loud about it. Otherwise, sometimes when you make too much noise without doing the thing, you lose it. So just face what you're doing, forget the noise. Just be focused.
Well, I think before I say my own, I just want you to give us the Jamaican accent, like the patois. Can you read it for us in patois?
Oh, all right. Somebody instead of person.
Yes.
Somebody we want catch animal in the bush. Now go blow a whistle.
I go talk. I won't speak patois. My tongue is not twisted.
Okay, so with the younger generations now, you'll be chatting with someone, and the next thing you see is, guy, how far now? The person will be like, fine, no. Or more. The person will even be calling you boss, chairman, and all that. And maybe just give the person like 2 days or 3 days. The person will just post England. And you're like, how? How did it happen? Bro, how did you move? So you've been processing your papers to move out of the country and all that, but you didn't tell me, that kind of thing. And some people might not really get angry, but the major point is that person concealed it until he got there.
Of course.
So before you announce your result, you have to conceal it first. Then go through the journey. When you're done, you're successful, you can now post, make the whole declaration and say, I've made it already and all that.
Indeed.
So I think that's my
just like the proverbial words of one of the Nigerian rappers, no be cho cho cho, show workings.
And
there's something in Yoruba that they say, let me say it now. Tissue eniba funfun, a man for bojeni. That if your yam is white, which shows that it is good yam. When you want to eat it, you cover it. You don't let the whole world see that you're eating. A lot of things could come in.
Indeed. I think that's just it. And I'd just like to add that while saying that you should make moves in silence, you should also not be the person who is consistently saying that you are making moves in silence. Just do it.
Do the
thing.
Do and show.
Exactly. Thank you so much for being on the program, Makeda. Thank you so much, Sir K. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. That's how we round off the program for today. Do join us next Saturday, 9 a.m. We come to you on Huge Network here with Culture Cove. Bye for now. See you next week.